Hello everyone, welcome back to the online classes by Pandora Institutions. Hope you all are watching all videos. So now in last class we were discussing about the azeotropes. I will remind you what we taught in last class. So azeotropes means the binary solution, that is a liquid having the same composition in the liquid phase and vapor phase, or you can define that the liquid mixture which boils at the constant temperature without changing any composition. So that is known as a azeotropic mixture. So this azeotropic mixture cannot be separated by the fractional distillation because of the azeotropic mixture having the same composition and the solution will boil at the constant temperature, hence we cannot separate by the fractional distillation, but the ideal solutions can be separated by the fractional distillation because of the one more volatile will be there, one will be the less volatile will be there. And azeotropic mixture can be divided into two types. One is a minimum boiling azeotropes and second one is the maximum boiling azeotropes. Minimum boiling azeotropes means what? The liquid mixture which boils at the lower temperature than either of the two components is known as a minimum boiling azeotropes. If the minimum boiling azeotropes having a AB type of interaction is weak, hence more vapor pressure will be there. More vapor pressure means that is more than the vapor pressure by the Raoult's law, hence minimum boiling azeotropes will show the positive deviation. And the maximum boiling azeotropes means what? Those liquid mixture which boils at a higher temperature than either of the two components is known as a maximum boiling azeotropes. In case of that maximum boiling azeotropes, AB interactions are stronger, hence the escaping tendency will be less, hence we are getting the less vapor pressure. So those maximum boiling azeotropes will show the negative deviation. And respective example also we were discussing about that one in the last class. So in today's class we will discuss about the next one, that is the solution chapter. Another part is the very important colligative properties. Next one is colligative properties. Colligative properties. So what is the colligative properties? So there are four colligative properties are there, and one is the relative lowering vapor pressure, second one is the elevation of the boiling point, and the third one is the depression of the freezing point, and fourth one is the osmotic pressure. And what is the meaning of colligative properties? These are the property of the dilute solution which depends only on the number of solute particles, not the nature of the solute particles. Such type of properties are known as the colligative properties. So how to define this one? Colligative properties. The properties of dilute solutions which depends only on the number of solute particles, only on the number of solute particles, not nature of the solute particles. Nature of solute particles. So this is known as a colligative property. Here number of solute particles means how much solute we are adding irrespective of the solute. It may be the sodium chloride, it may be the sugar, it may be the glucose, it may be the sucrose, it may be the urea. So irrespective of the solute, only depends on how much solute we are adding. So that depends on that is we are calling as number of solute particles. Solute means, well, as we already know that when we added a non-volatile solute to the solvent, vapor pressure is decreases. So there are four types of colligative properties. First one is the relative lowering vapor pressure. Relative lowering vapor pressure. So that we already know that formula. P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught. And second one is elevation in boiling point or elevation of boiling point, elevation of boiling point denoted by delta TB. Third one, depression in freezing point or depression of freezing point, that denoted by delta TF. And fourth one, osmotic pressure denoted by pi. So these are the four colligative properties which depends only on the number of solute particles. Here one more point you can remember, relative lowering vapor pressure is a colligative property, but the lowering vapor pressure is not a colligative property. So this relative lowering vapor pressure is also depends on the number of solute particles. So these are the four colligative properties which depends on the number of solute particles. And one more important thing you have to remember, from relative lowering vapor pressure, elevation of the boiling point, depression of the freezing point, osmotic pressure, one problem will come for the theory on the basis of these colligative properties. Now we will discuss about the first colligative property, that is a relative lowering vapor pressure. First one is a relative lowering vapor pressure, that is RLVP. Let us consider the example, the solvent is taken in a closed vessel. Here the solvent particles are present at the surface of the liquid. These liquid particles having a more tendency to escape from the liquid phase to the vapor phase. When the evaporation is taking place, these all vapor molecules will evaporate to form the vapor molecules on the surface of the liquid. So these vapor molecules will exert a pressure on the solution or the liquid solvent. So that pressure is known as the vapor pressure, that is denoted by the P1. So this is the pure solvent, hence we have to P1 naught we are denoting. So that is pure solvent. So when we add the non-volatile solute to pure solvent, the vapor pressure is decreases because of the non-volatile solute. How? Now we will discuss that. So when we add the non-volatile solute to the solvent, so this contains what? Non-volatile solute plus solvent, so that known as a solution. So when we add the non-volatile solute to the solvent, some of the solute particles will displaces the solvent particles at the surface. And now I will show these are the solvent particles, this is the solute particles, solvent particles, solute particles, solute particles, solvent particles. Yes. Here some of the solute particles will displace the solvent particles. Here less number of volatile solvent particles are there, but the nature of the solute particle is non-volatile. It means it will not form the vapor. Here the solvent particles, less number of solvent particles will evaporate to form the less number of vapor molecules. These less number of vapor molecules will exert a less vapor pressure on the liquid surface. That pressure is known as what we call that one, P1. So because of the non-volatile solute present in the solvent, the total vapor pressure of the solution is decreases compared to the pure solvent. It means here P1 naught is greater than P1. P1 naught is greater than P1. Why? Because we already know that because of the non-volatile solute present in the solvent, the vapor pressure of the solution is decreases than pure solvent. The decreased vapor pressure is directly proportional to the amount of solute dissolved in the solvent. That we can remember. Coming to the point, we already know the lowering of vapor pressure. So lowering of vapor pressure means lowering in the sense decreasing of vapor pressure of what? Vapor pressure of solution compared to what? Pure solvent. That we can written as lowering of vapor pressure is equal to lowering of vapor pressure, that is denoted by change in pressure. Delta P is equal to P1 naught minus P1. Difference between the vapor pressure of the pure solvent and that of the solution is delta P. According to the Rod's law, we know that. According to Rod's law, so P1 is directly proportional to the X1. Partial vapor pressure of the component is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the solution. That we can write P1 is equal to P1 naught into X1. So now it is delta P in nothing but what? So that is delta P is equal to, we can write that P1 naught minus P1. Delta P is equal to P1 naught minus P1. P1 nothing but P1 naught into X1. So now delta P is equal to P1 naught. P1 value is there here. So that is minus P1 naught into X1. Delta P is equal to P1 naught is common here. P1 naught, that is 1 minus X1. Now P1 naught 1 minus X1 we can write at X2, because sum of the mole fraction of the two components X1 plus X2 is equal to 1. So 1 minus X1 is equal to X2. So now it is P1 naught into X2. Delta P is equal to P1 naught into X2. Delta P divided by P1 naught is equal to X2. What it means? Delta P divided by P1 naught. Delta P nothing but P1 naught minus P1. So that is P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught nothing but that is a relative lowering vapor pressure. That is relative lowering vapor pressure. What is the meaning of the relative lowering vapor pressure? That is the ratio between the lowering vapor pressure of the solution to the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. That is delta P divided by P1 naught. It means the solution or the relative lowering vapor pressure containing non-volatile solute is equal to the mole fraction of the solute. From this expression we can tell that the solution containing non-volatile solute is equal to the mole fraction of the solute present in the solution. From this now we can determine the molecular weight or the molar mass of a solute from the relative lowering vapor pressure. So that is determination of molecular weight or molar mass from relative lowering vapor pressure. Determination of molecular weight or the molar mass from relative lowering vapor pressure. So from this expression we came to know that relative lowering vapor pressure of the solution containing non-volatile solute is equal to the mole fraction of the solute. So now from this one, delta P divided by P1 naught is equal to X2. Delta P nothing but what? That is P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to X2. So now P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to X2 nothing but what? Mole fraction of the solute. Mole fraction of the solute is equal to. So number of moles of solute to the number of moles of solvent and solute. So now N2 divided by N1 plus N2. That is N2 divided by N1 plus N2. For the dilute solution, dilute solution means we are adding the water to the solvent. For the dilute solution, amount of solute is very less than the solvent. So that is solute means N2 is very less than solvent. So that is negligible here. So now we can write this one. P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to N2 divided by, here N2 is negligible because amount of solute is very less in the dilute solution. So now we can write this one N1, N2 divided by N1. So now N2 nothing but what? Number of moles of solute, and N1 nothing but number of moles of solvent. So number of moles of solute N2 is equal to, how to write this one, given weight divided by molar mass of solute. N1 nothing but given weight divided by molar mass of solvent. So now we can P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to N2 nothing but W2 divided by M2, W2 divided by M2 whole divided by W1 divided by M1. So now P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to W2, M1 goes to the numerator, M1 divided by M2 into W1. This is the formula. Now if you want to calculate the M2 nothing but molar mass of solute, that is the determination of molecular weight of solute, molecular weight of solute from relative lowering vapor pressure. M2 is molecular weight of solute. M2 is equal to M2 W2 into M1 divided by W1 into, this will goes to numerator, P1 naught divided by P1 naught minus P1. This is a formula to calculate the molecular weight of solute using a relative lowering vapor pressure. Here M2 is the molar mass of solute, W2 is the weight of solute, M1 is the molar mass of solvent, W1 is the weight of solvent. P1 naught is the vapor pressure of pure solvent, vapor pressure of the solutions. Now I will write that one. M2 is equal to molar mass of solute, and M1 is equal to weight of solute, W2 is equal to weight of solute, and M1 is equal to molar mass of solvent, W1 is equal to weight of solvent, P1 naught is vapor pressure of pure solvent, and one more is P1 is what? P1 is vapor pressure of solution. So this is the formula to calculate the M2. So this is used in the numerical purpose. You have to remember the thing about the relative lowering vapor pressure. Remaining part of the solution we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.